So tonight we're going to talk about the 3800. I have it up on the dyno right now still after all these days, but now it's new and improved because it has a turbo on it. That's right. I went through all of the different intake manifold configurations, all the NA ones, and then now I've added boost again. Not the supercharger, this time the GT45 turbo. So I just got it up running, and hopefully you guys can join me. We can make some runs tonight, make some pulls on the dyno, see what's going on. I need to figure out, I don't have the TC1 electronic boost controller that we normally use, so I don't have a way to control it. It looks like after logging it on the Holly that we have a pretty good boost curve though, even with the manual controller. Well, right now I just have it on the gate. I need to go get the manual controller, so we'll be able to do that tomorrow. I tried playing with some, going old school on it and using some Holly jets and some T's and all that stuff, but I just want to go get the controller. It'd be a lot easier to do, and it'll be a little safer. It's already popped off a couple of times, so I'll be able to show you guys that. I'll be able to show you one of the dyno runs. As you know, when you load into it and release it, it starts going and the turbo starts getting happy and everybody's cooperating. And then when you bust the line off of the wastegate, two things happen. One, because that line was being shared by the map sensor, it says, hey, what's going on here? And also because the wastegate no longer has a signal, it says, okay, I guess you want me closed all the way. So let's party now. And so I'll show you one of the runs where we just, I just pulled the stick back and aborted the run. But we're using, you could see in the run that it was on a mission. It was kind of ready to go. But we don't want to do that. The other thing and this is the thing that I want to talk to some of the guys about, the 3800 guys. This thing now seems to have a lot more crankcase pressure than it did when I had the supercharger on there. I don't think we've run it a lot and there was no blow by before. I even opened up a hole in the breather when it was supercharged in thinking that I don't know how these things are sealed and we'd like to have some kind of crankcase evacuation going on, and it seemed to work fine. Now with the turbo though, we're getting a lot of oil blowing out of that. So I'm gonna put another cap on it because I drilled that one out. I'm gonna seal that. But what I wondered is on the 3800 stuff, what I'm running right now is the lower intake manifold for the blower, and then the hogged out blower case with the backing plate on it. What I'm wondering is, are we pressurizing the crankcase somehow through the PCV or anything? But I'm not really sure. I've got to take it back off to get a good look at it. But if there's any L67 3800 guys out there, let me know if that is possibility. If on the turbo stuff, do guys really need to, cap off the PCV, or let me know if there's something trick that I need to do to get rid of that. I don't think it's blow by. I mean, the thing has been running. It has hundreds of runs on it already. Yes, you need to block the PCV hole by the throttle body. Okay, see, look at that. See, ask and you shall receive. Thank you very much. The PCV port is being pressurized. Okay, cool. So we'll be able to walk in there. You guys can show me what you're talking about, because I have another intake manifold off of the L32, and so we'll take a look at that, and you can just tell me. I was looking at it last night and thinking, something's going to happen here. I wonder if we need to plug one of these. Use Holly HP EFI to do electronic boost control. You can, but I don't have another controller unit. Although I might be able to use the one that we use for the TC1. 8 pipe, tap, and plug. Okay. I was just going to hammer a cork in there. Cheap trans for 1,000 horsepower. I don't think that works together, does it? Yeah, whatever covers it. I did have a little adventure when we were running we do need pizza. I had some the other night. I had a little adventure when I was doing the intake test as the gaskets started leaking water. And then I realized that when I've been putting the gasket on, I've been double O-ringing it because one set of O-rings just stayed on because they had attached themselves over time. They stayed on the intake manifold, and then I would put the other ones on, and then I thought, I don't need to be doing that. I took those off, and then I realized, hey, you really need to be doing that because the other ones are so bad that they need to be doubled up. And once I redid that, it all worked out. Do you know a good transmission for 1,000 horsepower LS? Maybe a modified 4L80 or something? We know that we can control the boost on the Holly. I just never do it. We use the TC1 all the time because it's already hooked up in the dyno that I normally use. The MS3 Pro will also do 3-port. Yep, we know all that. But it's running on a Holly right now. Yeah, Mahovitz has Lenkos over there. So let's go take a look at the, I'll bring this too, I guess. We'll go take a look at the turbo configuration. Yes, I did get the link that you sent me. He's a knucklehead. Anything that he doesn't use is not good, and anything that he does is the greatest thing in the world. He's just a clown. So here we go. Turbo-y goodness. Intercooler, GT45. And I even went with the stock exhaust manifolds. That stock exhaust manifold, the way that I had it set up, here are the headers that we were running on it. The stock exhaust manifolds actually allowed me to position the turbo up a little higher. It was a little better for the drain. So then I just went through my box of stuff. Where is the PCV line to the throttle body? I don't have one of those. This is what they're talking about over here. So this is the lower manifold. This is an L32 version, not the PC valve is under the steel. Further to the right. This one right here, right? Yeah, because this is the PCV right here. So it's this one, right? I don't know about what converter you'd need because I'm not really a converter guy, but a stage 4 is going to need a 3200 or something like that. So I need to cover this. Is that what people are saying? That's what I'm thinking. It's got to be this one or this one. Eeny, meeny, miny. The inlet for the PCV. Where's the inlet at? Yeah, these are the PCV holes right here, right? So are those getting pressurized? Oh, the inlet comes through the throttle body to the blower case. Okay, that makes sense. Do I have this other one capped off over here? Oh, the background is the water running for the dyno. Oh yeah, this one doesn't really have it. So this thing right here. So I have to pull that, because see we have the gutted out blower deal with the backing plate on there. Seems to be working good. Obviously we don't pull the cap, there's a PCV with a spring. Oh, okay. So what happens if I pull the plate doing laundry? Yeah, that's just the dyno water running. Because we were gonna make some runs, right? All right, so I'll pull that cap off. Ugh. I think I got better for me to take this case off. Face for that. Ta-da! That thing? I have to block both ends of the PCV system and vent the valve curves. Okay. Yeah, because just taking that out, that's going to be a big hole. That's not going to work. Why you want to give me the roll around? Yeah, we can see the other side of it here. I don't know. I don't remember what this motor came out of. It does have a weird accessory drive because I had to get a different length belt than we had for the Grand Prix one. This one has the ported heads, although they didn't make any power over the stock heads. Oh, I haven't even looked at charge temperature. So we can look at the charge temperature here. Okay, are you guys ready? You guys ready to do some math? So we got the NA motor, 267.5 horsepower. The turbo motor, 419 at 7.3 pounds of boost. Are we at the formula? Our air temp is doing really good. It's only 82 degrees. Yeah, it is a little over actually, and that's not unusual for E85. Although we ran the NA motor on E85 also, and it didn't seem to do anything. It doesn't seem to care about it. Oddly enough, the NA motor wanted to run. It ran best when it was very rich. It did not like running at 12.8 on the gas scale. I know the E85 guys are going to freak out, but. Yeah, this thing's gonna make 500 at 12 pounds or 12 and a half pounds. At least that's what it's on track to do. And especially if I can get rid of that crankcase pressure, that's probably 50 horsepower right there. No, not 493 at 7 pounds. That's not right. I said 419. 493 at 7 pounds would be good. The heads didn't flow very well. They flowed 204, 203. Stock exhaust manifolds. Yeah, definitely put a vacuum pump on it. It has one right over here. It's right here. It pumps all the stuff in there. I can tell you that leaving this out had a dramatic effect on the boost response. Right here. That big O2 sensor fitting right there, when that's empty, it doesn't spool up very well. So let's go on. We can make a run even with the crankcase pressure. I'll be able to fix that tonight or tomorrow after I get my controller. It's all dark and scary. It's the dark, scary ride. The dark, scary ride. If anybody's ever been down to Balboa, they know what that is. Okay. Man, you guys got a bird's eye view. You guys are doing okay. Look at that. You guys are just seeing everything. This is fantastic. Contact. Gotta put a little bit of heat here. Can you see? Yeah, you can see the graph. Oh, I can show you while we're waiting for this to warm up. I can show you one of the runs that I had to kind of stop midway here. So this is one of the power runs. It's like 7 pounds. Here's what happens when the reference line to the wastegate comes off. Here's what it looks like. That one right there, that was kind of on a mission. I'll get you guys a little bit closer here. Yeah, that was on its way. That was going up to the all of it mode. Whoa! Yeah, that was pretty quick on the stick there. Getting that thing back into reality. Yeah, it was, that was going to be all of it. Okay. Yeah, that one's 415. If we ran a second run, it would be a little bit better. That's where the 419 is. Charging hard out there on the big end, making peak power at 6,300 RPM. Peak torques at 390 foot, or what am I talking about? 378 foot-pounds? Yeah, at 5,200. And let's see here. Yeah, a whopping 82-degree inlet air temperature at 7 pounds. So it's doing good. You know, it's all good in the hood. The boost is at 7 pounds. It's just running on the wastegate. What's the water temp going into the intercooler? It is about 79 degrees. It's doing good. It's obviously going to make a lot more power than the blowers did. It makes like 415, 419 on one of the poles right in there at this boost level. This is not a stock 3800. If the guys that are new here, it's not stock. It's it has a cam. We tried ported heads on it, but the ported heads didn't really do anything. It has the stock lower L67 blower manifold on it, and then a hogged out blower, stock throttle body. So it's doing good. It's basically just a cammed version of this motor. Australia's in the house. Yeah, I have to send it over to, I'm gonna send the heads over to Eric. The cam that's in it currently is a ZZP cam. It's a 507, 220, 230 at 50. Feed at 21. It's gonna get more boost, just not all of it right now. It still has the stock head bolts on it, and it has those auto parts store head gaskets on it. I've never looked at the ring cap. It also has springs on it. This one has 26/19 springs on these heads. We've run the LS6 springs also, and they work good. This cam is a ZZP cam. I don't know what the name of the cam is. I just know the specs on it. Yeah, 6,500 it went to. And actually, if you look at the data logging on the Holly, it's showing this revving higher than the dyno is showing it. So I don't know which one's accurate. The air intake in the dyno room is... where's my air temperature at? No. I'd have to find that channel. $65.3. could see. The spring pressure depends on the setup, but I've got the card for, got the box somewhere around here. We did change to a 3/4 turbo cam. Is there any fabrication you need to do on the engine? To do what? You saw the turbo kit. It was it was not something that would fit in the car. The sloppy stage 2 will work with twins just fine. 6 degrees. That would be better for the turbo. I can't make a pull on 15 pounds. It's not ready to do that. Pontiac Bonneville had the supercharged engine in it. Aaron's here. So that's it. You go from 7 to 15. That's the next step. From half bar to full bar to foo bar. We can't make it run on 1 pound because the spring won't go down that low. We are running aftermarket valve springs. Yeah, these are comp 26918s. We've also run this with the LS3 springs as well. This turbo probably will not make 40 pounds on this motor. I don't have anything to adjust the boost, and I want to fix the crankcase pressure before I run a higher boost at it. Yeah, the highest horsepower is the nitrous, and the compound turbo thing I think was around 480 or something, and then the nitrous deal was 565 at the peak and like 530 or something. The GT35 should do 30 pounds. Yeah, it should flow enough to do that. I'm not putting in a project car, I'm just doing a dyno series on it. JPL, 1 point of static compression should be worth about 3 or 4% of whatever the NA power is. The turbo is a GT45, just an eBay one. Okay, it's the NIC cam from ZZP. I didn't know what the name of it was. It's the turbo that I use for a lot of stuff because it's it was already on the elbow, and it already had the wastegate, and it had the exhaust hooked up to it. It had all the things that I need. It just made it kind of convenient. I'm trying to adjust this down a little bit. You want to see the GT45 at 30 pounds. At 30 pounds, it would make a lot of power. So if it's 20 horsepower per pound, that's another, that's like 600 horsepower on top of the, it won't do that. It won't do 600 horsepower on top of the NA power. The GT45 I don't think is good enough for that. Yeah, they did run Buicks at Indy, not this motor, but an S480 would definitely do 30 pounds. It would do more than that. This is an L67 block. The NA motor and the supercharged motor, I think, are a full point. What's holding the engine back right now? Nothing. It's doing very well. I don't really have a max horsepower goal. What we're gonna do with this is ultimately we're gonna find out how much power it will take. We're gonna run probably a bigger turbo than this on it because I don't think that this will get us to where this motor will go to. But before I do that, this thing is gonna get Kinetic head gaskets and MLS gaskets, head studs. I'll put obviously rain gap in it. We will put a different camshaft in it because it needs to make more NA power. And I still am undecided on the intake manifold. I like the other intake manifolds. I just want to make sure I can get them to seal up and get rid of the PCV nonsense. Twin 35s. I think twin 30s would be even better. Yeah, I think one of the T4 S475s that I have, or the VS Racing 7875. I also have a Force Performance. I think it's a 7875 or 7675. He does good stuff over there. I think any of those will max this thing out. Yeah, you could add a turbo to your non-supercharged version. 30 pounds would be 800 horsepower. That'd be getting up near the limit of this blower. Ford 3.8 their shootout. There's what, like 6 or 7 of those on the road right now? The NA intake should make better power than the thing. It did. It made a little bit more. I tested that already. 98mm turbo. Do the Big Bang motors get fresh oil? Normally they do, because when we get them from the wrecking yard, they don't have oil in them, so we have to put oil in them. Yeah, if I can get the NA power up over 300, then it doesn't take as much boost to get there. Have you ever driven this with a Ford 4.9? Like the 300, you mean? I haven't. I haven't ever even run one of those. Can you make an adapter plate for a 671? A 6... I don't know if a 6 would fit on there. I mean, it can be done, certainly. We ran a Kenny Bell on it, and it worked pretty well. Yeah, and this is running on E85 right now. Any concern on the restricted ID of the stock exhaust flex joint? I don't think so, judging by how it's doing at this boost level relative to the NA power output. Maybe that gets to a point. And considering we saw no change in power between the stock exhaust manifolds and the headers at multiple different power levels, I don't think that I mean, if I was trying to make 1,000 horsepower, I think I'd choose the headers, but just because it might make me feel better. I haven't done one of the Fords. I've only ever seen 2 of those in the wrecking yard. Now, oddly enough, I saw them on both on the same day. Do you know where I can find some Gen 4 rods and pistons? There are probably a lot of them in the wrecking yards. Somebody wants to see how laggy the turbo is. I can show you a data log. So you can see what the boost curve is. So I can show you, here we go. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. So this is the data log from the Holly. I'm going to try to get you out of there. There you go. Get that spot out of there. You can see the green line right here. This is the boost curve. So it starts out about 134 kPa, and then ends up at like 150 or 151 kPa out at the top. But the thing is, this is not a real good indicator on boost response, like what you would have if you were trying to get in the throttle out on the street. Because an engine dyno doesn't do that. It has, an engine dyno has limitations. It's one of the many tools that you would use to make stuff work. It's really good for finding combinations that work, testing lots of camshafts or lots of cylinder heads, or the kinds of things that I do, and honing in on a combination. And then when you had it out on the street, you would find out what works and what doesn't in terms of like boost response. Normally, you would shoot for a smaller turbo than this for this application, unless you were trying to make 800 horsepower. Then it would be something like this. And honestly, there would be better choices than this turbo. It's just what I had, and it's cheap, and that's what that's kind of what makes it good. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to find the Gen 4 stuff. There's lots of them out there for the LS. Yeah, I agree, JB. The crankcase pressure will be interesting to see if there's any power there. Don't know Ethel. Do they know Fred, too? I think somebody said that the 2.8 has that metric bell housing pattern. We didn't measure crankcase pressure. I could just, I have to clean up the oil that it shoots out off of the floor all the time. I'm just counting the number of oil droplets. It's a lot. Casey, the 3800 has a metric bell housing that's similar to other V6s. I think Tim's got a list up there. Heads cam intake, yo. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this motor. It's just that I have to cap that PCV deal. There are adapters for the 3800 to go to conventional transmissions, turbo 350, turbo 400, that kind of stuff. What would make a case for adding cylinder liners? So you want to sleeve the block? The Chrysler 2.2 bell housing is different than this bell housing. I know, because I had to get it. We made an adapter to go to the Chevy stuff, though. Can you reuse Kinetic MLS head gaskets? Yes. We've reused them a lot. I reuse these head gaskets. I reused the intake gaskets like 15 or 16 times. And they were the ones from the wrecking yard. Yeah, probably ultimately an adapter would have worked as well to bolt it to one of the Chevy bell patterns, at least for the dyno use. What? Oh, this had a 4T65, right? I couldn't catch all of that compound question. Australia's in the house. Cadillac high-tech series engine. It has a powerful name, right? Yeah, take it. Somebody had a question about the 671 on a 6-liter. Take a look at the 671 that I have up on the video. So there's Dodge guys out there. Some of the Dodge guys might know. I have a question. How common are manual transmissions in like 5.9 or 5.2 liter Dodge Magnum like Ram trucks? Were all of them automatics, or do they come with manuals as well? Welcome. So I thought that there was something else that we wanted to cover on this thing. Oh, here we can walk and take a look at the... So what do you guys think the intake manifolds did? The NA intake manifolds. Ooh, scary, scary, scary. So you can see some of the oil spots on the floor. Pretty fancy turbo kit, huh? Comes right from the factory like that. Oh, a lot of the Dodges, because we needed a bell housing. I cracked a bell housing. I just ended up ordering one from Summit, but we were thinking about going over to the wrecking yard to get one. Man, I really need to clean this. So I ran those 2 intake manifolds, and then the one that's on there, and then the ones with these inserts, and these things actually work. These things actually work fairly well. You know, naturally the short runner stuff lost power down low, but they did pretty well. And I think ultimately that might be what I would like to run. Although these want to run a little bit higher peak engine speed than even the short runner versions of those, but those seem to make a little bit more power. And then the throttle body wouldn't be a restriction, wouldn't be an issue, because we're running boost through it, so that's not a big deal. The aluminum intake manifold actually made a little bit more power than the composite version. Both of them shared the same lower manifold. I thought maybe that would be the case, at least on the top end, because it has a better throttle body. Need to make it like a twin turbo kit out of that thing. See my turbo support? Right here, holding everything up so it doesn't get saggy. Coil packs, LS coil packs. These are truck ones too. One of them's unplugged. One of the injectors unplugged. It doesn't know it's not a V8. I think somebody was asking about, they thought that there was a hole in one of in one of the discharge tubes. This is just we have lots of these fittings because we use them for temperature sensors. I thought I had some on the intercooler as well, somewhere, so we could measure that. But we're taking the temperature reading right here. This was the same spot that I drilled and tapped when we ran the nitrous, and it worked well. It works a lot better than me spraying it all over the outside. But this is a it's the same size fitting, so we just put the thermocouple in there to measure the charge temperature. Looks like my custom backing plate is holding up. Just needs another turbo going in that side, right? These were used to plug the holes when I was doing the NA intake manifold test. Look at this. T4 to T3. Adapteroonie. Little plug for the Turbo Smart guys. I've run their wastegates a lot. What's the site for LS coils for the 3800? Well, we have an LS harness on this thing. And see, here's the other side. Ta-da! I have the bypass valve wire open. So you get all that big flow. That's like the secondaries kicking in there. Thoughts on LED underglow? What's an LED underglow? Is that for the underside of the car when you're profiling? Dialed, styled, and profiled. Shut my valve off. Yeah, the coil packs obviously ensure that we don't ever have to worry about spark energy. I think that has, I don't know, a tier 6 or something, some kind of plug in there. So where do we think that this one would have gone to? It didn't look like the boost was stopping. I don't know what the maximum of the gate was going to be, but it would have been a lot. I don't remember measuring back pressure on this. I can't imagine that there's very much. It's got 3-inch tubing on it, and it's a pretty big turbo for this size combination. How much difference is going from a 110 centerline to a 114? It's a loaded question. It depends on what application and what you're doing and what everything else is. Yes, everybody hit the like button. Let's see if we can get more likes than people. What's the best place for water injection spot if there's no room for intercooler? Individually in each port would be the best way. I haven't plugged the PCV. I'm going to do that. I'll do that before we make any more boosted runs. When are you going to show us your cars? My only car is a truck. That's not true. I have an Omni GLH. Oh, and I have a Mustang too. Oh, and I have a Nova too. The Nova you've seen, I have videos up on that. The Omni has videos up on that too. The truck's been in a couple of videos too. It's had cameos. It's all stock. I don't have multiple YouTube accounts. Where's the Mustang I speak of? It's in Roswell, New Mexico. Getting alien technology. Some Chimera. Two of the GT35 82s, not 28, so maybe that's a typo. On a 400 small block, two of those would be okay if you're looking to do like more than 1,000 horsepower. Because the GT35 82 is more like a 500 or 600 horsepower turbo. Yeah, if you want 1,000, then those would be a good choice. I haven't seen anything from Turbo Honda guy. Please do a video of a small block 318. I will. I'm going to get my own Magnum. I just ran a 318 yesterday. I think you've asked this question before. How come there's claims? Because you have to change jetting for elevation, but you don't for a blow through. You do. We change jets all the time. Any tips for installing long tube headers? It's going to be a little bit of work. Depending on what application it is, sometimes it's better to take the subframe out and put them in. People just want the F-body manifold tested, I think. Not so much that they think that that's their hero manifold. I think everybody thinks that the Australian manifold is really the way to go. But I think that they just want to see it tested so it's included. Has there been a sheet metal or custom intake available for the 3800? I'm sure people have made their own plenums for these things using this manifold, using this lower manifold, the blower one. And don't worry if you're putting long tubes in and you dent them. We've already seen from Freiberger's videos that denting them doesn't do anything. Well, it's always, with the Camaro manifold, it's always better to have more data. That way, everybody can talk intelligently about it. I've never run the Australian NA manifold. I don't know that I've ever even seen one in real life. Your carb question is you're trying to configure it as an absolute. You need the right jet in there. That's what you need. You don't need a richer, you don't need a bigger or a smaller jet. You don't need, when you run a blow-through carburetor, you have to tune the blow-through carburetor so it works for your application, for the boost level that you're running, for the car that you're running. You have to tune that just like you do an NA carburetor. You have to make it work. And it might be that on a blow-through carburetor, if you change from an NA carburetor on an NA motor to a blow-through carburetor on a blow-through application, because I wouldn't normally run a blow-through carburetor on an NA application, it doesn't seem to work very well. But if you run a blow-through carburetor on it and you put it on there, it might be that the extra flow through there draws the right amount of fuel. It doesn't happen all the time, but there's a chance that it could. I've also driven carbureted cars from sea level up to 6,000 feet and never changed the jets. I don't stop off on the side of the road and do a jet change because of elevation. We just keep driving it. The Engine Masters video was when they dented the headers, yeah. You can inject the fuel on top of the blower, and you can't use stock injectors. You have to use the injector size for whatever power output you have, but you can run them on top. And actually on top, it will be much more beneficial. Because the 671 or an 871, whichever, I can't remember which one it was, is going to want to have fuel going through it, and it's going to cool things off a lot. Freiberg has his motor here, and they tested that. It worked really good. I think Vortec and Paxton still sell their enclosures. And even those, we've run those many times, and we had to jet the carburetor for the application. You have to give it whatever fuel it wants. A 3800 with a turbo is a snail on a snail. People ask this a lot. I don't really have a favorite engine. It depends on what I'm trying to do with it. JPL said he doesn't mind if you send me the intercooler after some testing. Obviously, I would have to hear that from JPL. The 318 was something that I just ran for a friend, and they're a machine shop, and I don't even know what cam or anything was in it. It had iron heads on it, it had an RPM air gap on it, and a Holly on it. I think it made 372 or something, and torque was pretty good. It made 400, and so it probably had a mild cam in it, 425 or 430 foot-pounds. A carburetor on top of this manifold would be kind of interesting. Is ring gap necessary for an 03 Cobra Terminator motor? I've run Terminators we've run them over 900 horsepower on the dyno when they're cold and we had good fuel in them and stuff, without ever taking them apart. I don't even remember if we ever looked in there on that Terminator motor, so I don't know what the factory ring gap is though. Oh, that's right, I do, and I will. I'm glad you reminded me. I am going to test the small intercooler. I think that excuse me. I think that the water flow rate through that small intercooler is not going to be very much, but it'll still work. I'm going to really have to neck down the hoses. Yep, the chili bomb. What causes cylinder 8 to fail in the Terminator? I didn't know that that was the bad one. Yeah, I think that there's a limit to how much boost you can run on the rotaries too, right? Oh, a 6 rotor can take more, right? It could take 30% more, or 50% more. And the muffler bearings. The big bang. This isn't going to be a big bang on this one. Not yet. It needs more prep. Friday fun day. I thought Sunday was the fun day. You have a 255 pulley on your Regal GS. That's pretty sporty. I mean, as long as you have an intercooler, it really liked nitrous when we hit it with nitrous. Oh, just got my battery. Battery reminder. Any 3800 surprises? Well, the PCV setup. What else did we find? I actually am growing to like this motor. The longer they last and the more they cooperate, the more that I like them. And E85 helps with those blower motors a lot. The thing I don't like about this one is it's all dirty. I wish I would have steam cleaned it before I put it up here. I like the fact that it has a when we took the pan off, I like the fact that it has a windage tree on it. I haven't done a small block Chevy. I'd like to do an L31 short block Big Bang. Because we've blown up a bunch of those doing other dumb things on purpose when I was doing Wheel of Death. But I've never done one with turbos on it and kind of turned them all the way up. Oh, he's wiggling his nose, watch. It's a gift. Okay, one more minute. Five, four. The Google has a factory ring gap on a Terminator and it's 11 thousandths. That seems pretty tight. Okay, guys, I gotta get going. Thank you all for showing up. Wah! You can think about that all night. What would have been? It would have been right up here by the S and standard corrected, and then there would have been pieces all over the place. That would have been a lot of torque. If it would have curved over and leveled off, that would have been okay. That would have been a good run. That's kind of what it's going to look like when it makes 500 horsepower or more. It's going to look like that. Tomorrow there will be more boost. I'm actually hoping tomorrow this motor's coming off and I can do something else. Shameless plug. Oh, Turbo Fiero. Yeah, if you have a 3800 Fiero, you're definitely high on my list. I want to do the Truck Norris cam. Norway! My Norwegian brethren. I want to do the Truck Norris cam and Matt's cam too. Both of those are already been tested. I've already seen dyno results on both of those, but it would be interesting to run them together. Did I ever say goodbye? I think I did. I think it was time. What are you guys doing? Thanks guys for showing up. I will see you all tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have more booze to show you.